Hello, welcome to the season ending under the hood video of the GT3 cars. So basically what I'm going to be doing is looking under the body of the top 10 cars and just seeing if there's anything interesting and what makes them tick, and hopefully it helps other potential slot car builders out there that may want to enter a proxy or just help themselves for their own racing at their own club. I'm also going to be opening up 4 or 5 other cars that looked interesting that I wanted to show you guys. So first off, we're going to look at Jimmy Slots' car. It's car number 79. He finished in 10th place. Jimmy's from Australia. And he built this beautiful BMW M6 from Racer Sideways. Just a gorgeous looking car. Beautiful paint. Absolutely beautiful paint. The edges are nice and crisp, just gorgeous. So what Jimmy has here is a Playfit 3300 chassis with a SRP 30K motor in a Sidewinder configuration. Windshield feels like the stock windshield. Nothing special there. Looks like a Lexan interior. Let's check out his tire width here. It's around 11.5 millimeter wide tires. Yeah, about 11.5 millimeter wide rear tires. Fairly large guide blade. Kind of a commercial style guide blade. Let's look inside of this. It says in the instructions to loosen the yellow screw, so I hope that's what it does. There we go. I don't know too much about these Playfit chassis, but looks quite interesting. Notice this whole front mechanism here that holds the guide, the front wheel mount. It has a little bit of side-to-side movement, so that would help cushion any hard entries into corners, absorb the entry. Nice gear mesh. Let's check it out on the block here. Yeah, front wheels are firmly planted. Yeah, fairly low, less than a millimeter, I would say. So Jimmy's running a 10 tooth pinion and a 36 tooth ground gear. Yeah, beautiful. Just want to check the height on the block here. Yeah, quite a bit of clearance. It's not bad. Okay, up next we have Fast Company. Steve out of North Carolina. It's got a beautiful NSR Corvette. Steve's driving the number 3 Corvette, finished 9th place. It's just a solid, fantastic car. Easy to drive, beautiful car. Just like his car last year. So yeah, Steve's using the stock NSR windshield. What's interesting, he's got a large angle winder, King 19, not that big of a angle winder, but pretty torquey. Not sure how many grams of torque it is, but it's a beautiful car to drive. Front guide is fixed, not floating. He's got tape on the bottom of the chassis. So it sits on the block here. Oh yeah, quite a bit of space. Yeah. Tires look pretty decent. This one that I'm touching here is a little bit of wear, a little bit of feathering, graining. This one's still in good shape. Fairly narrow tires, about 10 mil wide. Yep, 10 mil wide. Let's measure this car, see how much it weighs. Forgot to measure Jimmy's, I'll weigh his right away here. 86 grams. That's about in the ballpark where you see a lot of these cars with rubber tires, anywhere from 85 grams to somewhere in the low 90s. I think Jimmy's will be quite a bit heavier with that play fit chassis. Jimmy's got 117 grams, yeah, quite heavy. Okay, so what do we have here? We got some rear axle support here. Piece of, I'm not sure if that's the Scale Auto support that supports the upright posts or not, but it's something similar. Quite a bit of glue to hold his motor in place. He's got a bunch of epoxy here too, it looks like. I'm not sure if it ran. Looks like it ran. It's soft, and it ran between the pod and the chassis, I believe. I don't think it's meant to be there. It is impeding the movement on the pod on this side here that has this sticky glue. Looks like it ran. The glue just kind of ran, oozed down. That's what it seems like to me. Motor screwed in. It's like standard bushings. Check the front wheels on the block. They're freewheeling. Yeah, they're totally up in the air, but sometimes with the weight of the body, the wheels drop down, but no, it's definitely up in the air. So there's no contact there. It's a tripod. Weight placement. I don't see any weight anywhere on this car. Unless there's some weight underneath this rear axle I can't see from this epoxy glue. Yeah, even this glue here is soft. Very soft. I don't think it's meant to be soft. Okay. Nice car, Steve. This might take a bit of time to put the screws on, so I'm just going to set them with the cars off to the side. Up next, we have car number 28. That's Audi 1. Audi 1 has a beautiful scale auto Ferrari. And what's interesting here is he has a medium scale auto chassis. And he's cut out the little support tabs that used to be here holding the various sections of the chassis, so that'll give them a little bit of more chassis flex. Another thing that's interesting is no pod screws on the front. Looks like he's got some sort of wings attached to the sides and to the front to hold the pod in place. And he's got the two standard screws here, it looks like, holding the pod in place in the back. Looks like a standard windshield. Yeah, looks like a slotting plus guide. Tire width. Tires are in decent shape. Little wider tires. I'd say he has almost 12 millimeter wide tires. Yep, 12 mil. Alan's running a Shark 28 in a Sidewinder configuration with his scale auto pod. Oh, let me weigh this first. $86 grams. See, pretty good contact. Front tires on the block. 4-point stance there. Pretty decent clearance, about a mil, I would say, ballpark. Looks like he's got the standard spherical bushings in here, I think. Looks like it. And he's got these interesting wings that he constructed here with the suspension. You can see the spring moving there. And he's got a wing at the front too, with suspension as well. A little spring there. And at the back, he's got suspension too. And yeah, no tape on the bottom of this chassis. It's got, yeah, some pod movement. I'll say kind of a medium amount of pod movement. And weight placement. It's got some weight on the front of the pod. I think, yeah, I see a little bit of weight in the back. Yeah, he's got some weight right underneath the axle here. Okay, nice car, Alan. So that's our car 28, Audi 1, that finished in 8th place. Up next, we have Brumos RSR with his Silver Bullet car 33. He finished in 7th place. Yeah, Tony's been a great supporter and creator of proxies, and that's awesome for the hobby. And he builds fantastic cars now. The winner of the Can-Am last season, I think it was 2019. And what Brumos has here is a Scale Auto Porsche 991. And he has a custom, I believe it's a custom, DO slot chassis. I think this is out of Europe. DO slot. Beautiful looking chassis with a NSR 30K green motor, Sidewinder configuration. It's got a little bit of clearance. Yeah, I see daylight. Looks like he's got some sort of custom, very ultralight windshield glass. Probably from Scale Auto, I would think. Let's check out his tire width. About 11 millimeters. Yeah, around 11 millimeters. Looks like NSR tires. Check out the weight. 97 grams. It's one of the heavier cars in this proxy. About 95 I'm getting now. Let's look inside here. I pre-loosened these 4 screws just so I would know how to take this thing apart. There we go. Lexan interior, I should add. That's beautiful. We got a little bit of float on the pod. Little bit of movement on this mechanism here that holds the guide and front axle in place. And these are the contacts for the body mount. See, there's movement in here for the body. I think is it magnetic? Because they spring back into place, the body mounts. Feels magnetic to me. I don't see any springs there. Very nice. Check out this front wheels on the block. Yep. There's solid contact with the front wheels. So all 4 wheels are firmly planted. Nice car, Tony. Get this back together again. So yeah, you can see how the body roll is controlled by those magnets, I'm assuming. Springs back into place. Very nice. Up next, we have Chris Walker. He finished in 6th place with his car number 30. It's a Scale Auto Corvette with a Scale Auto chassis with a angle winder configuration. Small can motor. What motor is this? That's a 25, I've seen the notes here. It's a 25K NSR motor with a Scale Auto angle winder chassis. You can see a little bit of the red rubbing off here. He painted the pod black. Scale Auto guide. Independent front wheels. Tires look in good shape still. They're about 11 mil wide tires. Yeah, 11 mil. Feels like a standard Scale Auto windshield, hard windshield. Let's open this up. Actually, let me just check out his clearance there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, looks like about a mil. Just ballparking. Yeah, wheels are making good contact on the block. All four wheels are on the block well. This is beautiful. He's got some sort of tubing here. He's painted black to run his wires. He's done a great job there. A little bit of tape holding the wire in place. Nice detail. I believe that's his weight. Yeah. That's his lead weight, which looks like he's painted it black and rounded the corners. And he's got it stacked up a little bit higher, just to get the center of gravity just a touch higher possibly. Angle winder, like I said, 25K motor. Not sure what he has here for bushings. Looks like a flanged oil light bushing. It's painted black. That's just my guess. Looks like it. Looks like a flanged bearing. He's got no spring suspension, but he's got some movement there, and he looks like he's got some sort of, he's got little, looks like little Teflon silicone washers to absorb the impact. As you can see, he doesn't have any tape on the car at all. So pod has a little bit of movement. Yeah, a little bit of side-to-side movement. Forgot to weigh the car. Let's see how much it weighs. With the screws. 85 grams. Very nice. Congratulations on your 6th place. Oops. Knocked over my camera. That's good enough. Okay. Up next, we have car 99. Car 99 is Big Doug, and he finished in 5th place. This car really came on strong in the last half of the year with a looks like a 3rd place, 4th place, 3rd place, 2nd place finish in the last 4 races very strong finish. So Big Doug's got a Scale Auto Corvette with a stock standard black hard chassis. Looks like he cut a couple of the tabs here for movement, and he's left that tab and that tab on both sides. Sidewinder, slotted pod, Shark 30 motor with a slotting plus guide. And I remember in the beginning of the Proxy, I think it was round 2 or maybe even round 3, they had to replace his braids. They lost one of the braids, I think, came off. Check out the tire width. 10 mil. 10 mil. It looks like he's on air hubs. Yep. Yeah, he's on air hubs. Tires are in good shape too. A little bit of tape on the pod, just on the front of the pod. Quite a bit of movement actually. Yeah, quite a bit of movement for suspension. How much does it weigh? $90 Actually, let's take a look at. I want to take a peek at Chris Walker's hubs. Yeah, they're air hubs too. I can feel it. Even Brumos, what does he have for hubs? Yeah, he's got air hubs as well. Yep, NSR air hubs. Audi 1. Those don't look like, well, maybe they are. Actually, I can't tell on this one. Can't tell if they're air hubs or not. Fast Company. Yeah, definitely I can tell they're air hubs. And Jimmy. Oh, these feel solid to me. Okay, seems like air hubs are very popular. How's the clearance? That's very low car. Yeah, less than a mil clearance. It's like the one wing support broke off. A little bit of weight all over the place. Along the side, a few little pieces. Weight on the front of the pod. Weight underneath the axle in the middle. Weight on the pod itself. I don't see any weight back here. Quite a bit of movement, like I said. Independent wheels. Yeah. It's like possibly NSR running gear. Looks like flanged bushings. Unless they're a bearing, they look like, they almost look like a bearing from the side. possibly could be a bearing instead of a flanged bushing. Definitely air hubs. Most definitely. Yeah, great car. Oh, check out the front wheels and the block. A little bit of movement. So, taking a little bit of weight off the car. Nice car, Big Doug. Congratulations on your 5th. Fourth place car. F1 Fan. F1 Fan was sitting in 3rd place, I'd say, for most of the year. And then last race of the season, Audi 1 snuck by him. But kudos to Audi 1, or not Audi 1, that was Aloha. It was Aloha, not Audi 1. Aloha, yeah, his car just kept getting stronger and stronger, and just the writing was on the wall. It was just amazing how Aloha performed at the end of the season. But F1 Fan, his car is absolutely fantastic too. It's a Scale Auto Porsche 991 with a Scale Auto black chassis. The slotted Sidewinder pod with tape to limit the movement, dampen the movement. I think this is a Scale Auto black motor, I think, with the wrapper taken off. I think it's Scale Auto black. It's around a 29-30K motor, I think. Or no, it's not. It's an NSR 30K. Actually, no, let me just check my notes here. F1 Fan. NSR 28K. Oh, I didn't know he used that motor. It's an NSR 28K. Okay. Let's see what kind of weight he has here. 91 grams. 92 grams. 92 grams we'll go with. He's got some lightweight windshield and glass. Most likely the Scale Auto upgrade. Very light. Lexan interior. It's got some orange pinstriping, it looks like, material. Customary number 7. How's his height here? Yeah, he's got, he's, you know, a little less than a mil. Pretty decent clearance still. Little sticker over the hole. Independent wheels, I think. Yep. Independent, fancy. Just barely touching the block. Actually, they seem to be sticking above the block a little bit. Let me just check here. Yeah, even with the body on, there actually seem to be just a hair off the block. Okay, what has he got here for weight? He's got some happy faces painted on his weight. He's got weight on the sides, weight on the front. He's got weight underneath this green tape, it looks like. Yeah, he's got weight curved along the front of the motor and all the way onto the pod. And he's got weight underneath the rear axle. And he's glued a support. Feels like, not sure what it is, some kind of, looks like circuit board material or something, glued between the uprights just to give it some support. The uprights some support. Looks like he's got a washer glued on here just to raise the rear of the car a little bit. Motor screwed in. Can't tell, are those just regular spherical bushings? It looks like it. Can't tell for sure. We got pretty decent pod movement. Nice car. Congratulations on your 4th place, Chris. I know you enjoy being the bridesmaid, but you got to let some of us be the bridesmaids sometimes. Third place, podium car, Aloha. Aloha's car, just like Big Doug's, came on very strong at the end. Very strong. He had a 3rd place, a 4th place, a 3rd place, and a 2nd place right at the very end. Actually, no, sorry, I was just reading Big Doug's. Aloha had a 8th race, he had a 2nd place, and then he had a 4th place in race number 9, and then he had a 3rd place in race number 10. Very strong car. Actually, every race he had point totals in the 20 plus range, except for the race at Rel 13s and the very first race in Vancouver. All other races he placed over 20 points. And this is one of the only 2 BMW M6s by Sideways that are in this Proxy. Aloha's and Jimmy Slott's. And they both placed in the top 10. See, Aloha has a upgraded rubber wing. He's got the standard glass. His customary orange paint with the usual number 4. One thing I noticed is this car is low. Didn't want to mention it before the race on the forums, but you can just barely see daylight. Like this Polycar sticker, I can't even slide it underneath the car. And this is 1/4 millimeter thick. I can slide a piece of paper, a sheet of paper I can slide under there. But this sticker, that's 1/4 millimeter, it's touching. This car is low. Extremely low. That probably helped it with its finish with the lower center of gravity. So Aloha has a red, I think that's the, not sure if that's the extra hard racer chassis. And he's left out the little screws here that hold that prevent the body flex. So there's quite a bit of body flex, or chassis flex I should say. Quite a bit. And you can really definitely see the flex in the chassis. Quite noticeable with this car. We have an NSR 30K motor, Sidewinder configuration with a slotted pod. Looks like a slotting plus guide. Let's check out his weight here. 95 grams. Looks to be getting closer to one of the heavier cars, I would think, at 95. Let's open this up. Oh, he's got a plaster scene in here. So, what does Aloha have here? Is this weight here? Looks like thin weight. Yeah, just cut really nicely along the front. Is that painted black weight? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's painted black. Just like Chris Walker painting his lead black. Maybe that's a trick I don't know about. Yeah, that's weight there too. Looks like a couple sheets of lead weight on the pod. Full sheets of weight, so that'll bring up that weight. That's why he's up to 95 grams. Independent wheels as well. Can't tell again. I think it's just spherical bushings, I think. Pod movement. I gotta hold the entire chassis just to see if there's any pod movement. There's some. But the chassis flexes just as much as his pod. Quite a bit. Let's see. Yeah, they're touching. The front wheels are touching the block and quite firm. No weight underneath the axle. Congratulations, Dale. Third place. Aloha, number 4. Second place. My car, CGY Racer. Number 10 Corvette. Scale Auto Corvette. It's a standard Scale Auto black chassis. The tabs are cut out. Not as neat as some of the people's I've seen cut out. The only tab that's left is this one right at the front here that I did not cut out. 25K Shark motor. A little bit of movement. Tape. Let's check out the width of the tires here. About 12 mil. 12 mil wide. They're Ultra Grips. I'm not sure if I measured Aloha's. Let's check out Aloha's wheels. Yeah, they're nice and wide ones too. Yeah, they're about 12 mil. And they're air hub. Yeah, they're definitely an air hub. F1's wheels, I forgot to check. I think he's got a little narrower, maybe around 11 mil. Oh, 11.5 it looks like. And they're not an air hub, I don't think. Oh, hard to tell. Hard to tell. I don't think they're air hub. This car, they're not air hub wheels. They're 12 mil CB design hubs. Standard stock glass. Let's measure this. 90 grams. Clearance, like most of them, just probably a hair under a millimeter, I would say. Front wheels are firmly planted. A little bit of movement on the pod. We have weight along the sides, stacked up. 2 slabs of lead stacked up. 25K shark. And my car has standard spherical bushings glued in. Forgot to mention there's weight on the pod as well. A little bit of weight back here and a little bit of weight back here as well underneath the axle. The car I used the season before, the chassis, it's the same chassis as what I used before, but I shifted some weight towards the back under here, and this was all full of weight. The whole pod was double stacked with weight, and I removed this section and put some weight back here, and yeah, I think that's all I did with the weight. And new tires I put on this season. My tires last year were wearing down. And a little zippier motor. It seems like everyone else got faster as well, as what happens every year. Okay, this leads us to the car everyone has been waiting for. Our first place car, Heli CA. Congratulations. You are the champion this year. As the banner shows, Heli CA 2021 champion. Congratulations. What a fantastic car. This car is the closest car you'll ever drive to a magnet wood car. And I'm being totally honest. As soon as I put this car on the track in round 0, I was just amazed how it stuck to the track. And this car does not slide. It does not slide. Like, it'll chatter and then just come right off like a magnet car. It just has that much balance and traction. This car has quite a bit of body roll, I've noticed too, compared to any other car. Lots of movement there. He's got, looks like duct tape, Gorilla tape, holding the pod in place. The pod has a lot of movement too. And it's an Oliver chassis for, and oh, I should have mentioned that this is a Black Arrow Ferrari GT3. So yeah, so the Oliver chassis, they feel a little soft as well, and as long as and along with the movement that the pod has, and then with all the body roll, there's quite a bit of movement in this car. That might be one of the tricks up Leon's sleeve for creating a car that handles the corners very well. Windshield. It's a upgraded plastic, light plastic Lexan windshield to reduce weight. Lexan interior as well. Guide looks like a standard. It looks like your stock, well, not a stock, but your standard slotted guide. A guide that most of us used numerous times in our hobby. Check out the tires. He's got very wide tires, extremely wide. They are definitely 12 mil wide. 12 mil wide. 12 millimeter wide tires. Slotted 29K motor. The red motor. I think that's the only, that might actually be the, no, there's other slotted motors in this, but not that many. Actually, okay. Yeah, I think there was only 3 or 4 other slotted motors in this Proxy. That's it. This motor's got lots of speed in it, but yet it's nice and soft in the corners. Oh, it's a Torx. Thank goodness I had a little Torx Allen key here. Not that easy to take off with a Allen key, is it? Almost there. Okay, there we go. Those are long. There we go. What have we here? We have, interesting how he has his braid or his lead wire trimmed back all the way. All the insulation trimmed right back. Actually, it's a different type of insulation. Well, even the wire, it feels like a twisted wire. Because you can see all the twists in it. Wrapped in some sort of, yeah, it's wrapped in heat shrink tubing. That's what it is. It's like he made his own wire that he twisted. Looks like it. Yeah, it's definitely twisted. With the wire going straight into the guide. Weight. He's got weight on the front by the front axle, and he's got weight stacked up, except in the first location in front of the pod. And he has a couple, looks like a couple stacks of weight underneath the rear axle. There's absolutely no movement in this axle. And it looks like spherical bushings to me. Motor's screwed in place. Solid axle. Front tires are very sticky. Hence his instructions, please clean front tires too. Actually, there's quite a bit of movement. Let's take a peek here. They seem to be just a hair off the block. The tires. Like I said, a lot of pod movement. It's got some sort of tape or Teflon here on this side of the pod, I see. Right here and right here between the pod and the chassis, but none on this side. I'm not sure if that's just to balance it because it was a little higher in that spot. I'm not sure. Okay. Not sure what the secrets are, but nice car, Leon. Very nice. Congratulations on your first place. I wanted to point out a couple other cars, or a few other cars. Camber, he was our champion 2 years running in 2018 and 19. He's got a beautiful custom built chassis that he's built. We had a problem with it in our race here. It was coming off the track on the straight that has a slight rise, and this suspension here, it's very, very loose. It's very loose, so when the car would accelerate, you can see how the whole chassis and body lifts out of the slot quite easily. I'm not sure if you can see that, but you can see how it just pops right out as soon as there's heavy acceleration. It's because the body's tied into the front and the motor is separate from the rest of the body. So I'm sure he'll get that dialed in. But beautiful chassis. Another car I wanted to show was Stevie W's. He has a SCX Audi with a 3D Slotting Plus chassis. And this is the only car in the whole Proxy that was an SCX or Skeletric style of body versus all these other premium bodies. I call them NSR or Slotted or Racer. Those kind. So kudos to him for building this. He has a Shark 28K motor with a, looks like a, not sure what type of pod that is. That might even be a 3D pod, I'm thinking, too. Yeah, it doesn't look like a Slotted to me. But yeah, great job. Another car we have is Super Slabs. Super Slab converted a Revo slot chassis onto a Scale Auto Viper body. What a great job he did fitting that on. Great job. That's a lot of work. It looks like he did. But yeah, great job. Courtney. Courtney has a NSR Porsche 997 entered in this with a, he converted a Thunderslot chassis. And anytime you convert a chassis into another manufacturer, man, that's a lot of work. And this car felt fantastic here at my track. I think it was an 8th place car on my track. Even round 0, I think it was an 8th place car, but it seemed to struggle at all the other tracks. I'm not sure why. But it's interesting how he fitted the chassis to the car. You place this, he has this extension screwed on. He has an extension screwed on and mounted, drilled a hole and mounted the body to this extension. Great job. That's really neat. And great job how he fit it to fit. You had to do a little bit of trimming here. Just a perfect fit. Great job. So that's it, guys. Thank you for watching, and thank you for those that participated in this year's 2021 GT3 Proxy, and hopefully see you next season and see you on the forums.